Now, one of the things to always remember when you're painting is don't forget to remove the tape. There's nothing more frustrating than forgetting painting a lovely painting and then realizing the tape is still there, and when you peel it off there's a piece of bare canvas. So I'm just going to peel off my tape to reveal a nice straight horizon line. And of course there's no need to waste this. Let it curl up and you've got a lovely Christmas decoration. I'm kidding, folks. Before I continue with my painting, I need to do something with this part of my canvas. As you can see, it's dry, but this needs to be covered in a thin coat of the linseed oil and a small amount of titanium white, again to make it nice and slippery, so that we can move some colour here and we can blend on the canvas. I'm going to go back to using the brush that I used for the sky. It doesn't matter that it's got a little bit of the pink and the yellows on it, because I'm going to be painting this with a combination of some of the lavender colour with a little bit more of the ultramarine blue. So I'll come back in just a second when I've got this all covered in white, and then we'll start adding some colour over the top. Okay, so I've prepared this area, and if I touch with my finger you can see that there is some oil and some titanium white there. So this is nice and slick and wet, ready to go. And I want to transfer some of these colours into the water, so I want there to be a reflection. Even though I'm going to paint a wave over the top, I'm actually going to put some of this colour on the water here. And I know it's yellow and it's going to have some blues and lavenders going over the top, but I'm not too concerned if I get a little hint of green here and there. So I'm just going to work this in, and you don't have to be too accurate with the positioning on this. I just want to try and get a little bit of a lighter area in here. So I'm deliberately going to let my paintbrush run out of colour in this area and just put in a suggestion of the warmth of the sky. I'm going to go right up under the horizon line there. And the other area I'm going to put an extra little bit of colour is down here in the foreground. There's going to be some beach through here, so I'm going to use a little bit of that orangey yellow colour here, and now I'm going to add in just a tiny touch. Ooh, that's strong, isn't it? A little touch of the Van Dyke brown. I just want a sort of nice sort of sandy brown colour here for the beach. And again, there's titanium white down in here, so it's sort of picking up and lightening up my colour a little bit. And this is the area where my wave is going to live. I'm going to add some darker colours to the side here. Again, I don't mind if there's a little bit of the sandy colour mixing in with this. And this again is to reflect the colour of the sky. So you can get this area fairly muddy, fairly dirty, and actually it's an advantage if you do on seascapes, because if you're going to want the foam to show up and all those lovely splashes and crashes, you've got to have something a little bit dark behind it. So something not too clean is quite a good idea for seascapes. Again, I'm just going between colours here. This is a little bit of the lavender, a little bit of that brown colour together. It makes quite a dark shadowy colour there. And again, I'm not going to be going completely flat here. I'm going to be suggesting there's a little bit more movement here, so my brush strokes are going to be a little bit more with a bit of a sort of a shallow dip to them here. So I'm already starting to get the idea that there is a little bit of movement in this area of my painting. And it's important when you're painting seascapes especially that you start to very early on introduce the suggestion of movement in your paintings, and you start to almost lay out the shapes of the waves early on. I don't need to get too much colour right on the horizon line there. There are distant little waves in the background there, and they could be catching the light. So I don't need to get too close to the horizon. But again, little crisscrosses, a nice lapping action going. A little bit more shadow through there. There's a nice patch of yellow in there I'm going to keep. I'm going to be doing some crisscross strokes in here. So maybe I can use that for one of the waves as a little transparency and keep this for a transparency as well. Introduce a little bit of the ultramarine blue into this as well. Again, if I get a hint of green coming through, that's nice for our seascapes. This area here, I'm going to sort of make that a bit of a nice lump and a bump into it. I want that to be the top of this wave. So I'm going to pull some colour through there. And I want my eye to fall on this section of my painting predominantly. So I'm going to shade out the ends here. In fact, my waves actually are not going to finish particularly at the edges. You're going to see the detail in the centre portion, and at the sides my waves will be a little bit lost and found. In other words, they won't be maybe as detailed. And just pull the beach and the wave together. I think that gives us a very nice layout. I think it's easy to see the shape of my waves, and I'm going to start working on the background here and adding more detail into this, starting to produce little individual wave shapes in here, and then working my way forward to produce the first wave and then its twin, the bigger wave in the front.